I had a pleasant meeting with Senator McConnell this morning. He has announced to his caucus that he is willing to have a up or down vote on DHS full funding and some kind of a vote on Collins. The problem is, everybody, I'm waiting to hear from the Speaker.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is a gift that keeps on giving. Joining us now is Ken Cuccinelli, president of the Senate Conservatives Fund and former, of course, Virginia Attorney General. Ken, good to talk to you again.
Well, it's good to be with you.
All right. I mean, before we get to the fact that I think you and I are in sync here, in complete agreement that what Mitch McConnell is proposing here is a disaster and a capitulation. Here you have, and nobody's talking about this, you have Harry Reid saying he's not going to go along.
He won't accept his surrender.
Right.
Can you believe it?
He won't go along.
He won't accept the surrender.
Because I guess because he wants assurances from Boehner that the House will go along with this Senate deal in advance of a vote. What is he, crazy?
Well, he wants to make sure that the joint surrender caucus is all on the same page. So, you know, and Mitch McSurrender, Republican from Kentucky, is apparently not enough for Harry Reid. This is amazing. I mean, this is a leadership designed failure. They should have done this in December. They had the ability to do this in December. They refused to do it in December, and the Republican leadership cooked up this alternative. Okay, we're going to do this in February with DHS funding. So now they've got to do it. And of course, what McConnell is doing, the majority leader of the Surrender Caucus is doing, is to carve out another fallback that is designed to fail. I mean, there's a reason I keep saying the word surrender. This is intended to fail.
Well, when you say, wait, Ken, when you say intended to fail, I'm confused. Do you mean that it's intended to fund Homeland Security? Because that's what it would do. Is that what you mean by fail, or something else?
It is intended to fund Homeland Security for a year, but not defund executive amnesty,
right,
which is what they said they were going to do in December.
Yeah.
With this bill. Well, here's the bill, gentlemen. And now what? Now they, you know, I feel like it's one of those little cartoons my kids watch. Don't cross this line, and then they cross that line. Don't cross this line. Don't cross this line. You know, the president isn't the only one with red lines that nobody pays attention to. McConnell and Boehner and Scalise and McCarthy are there too.
Absolutely. But Ken, we should explain to the people, this capitulation is total. What McConnell is saying is, all right, I have an idea. We'll fund Homeland Security with the executive order money in it. But we're going to put the Democrats on record because we'll have a separate vote on whether or not they favor the executive order. Who the heck cares? Right.
Yes, exactly. These are show votes at the Senate Conservatives Fund. We call them shiny objects. And of course, take Jerry Moran in Kansas, Rob Portman in Ohio, John McCain in Arizona. They love stuff like this. They're do-nothing, mean-nothing votes where they'll actually go back to their home state and say, hey, look, I'm John McCain. I was going to build the dang fence, which was his line in 2010 when he had to fight off a primary challenge. And that's what you're going to hear in their home state. That's what this is for. That's all it's for. It isn't actually about achieving anything. And I think a lot of people went to the polls in November with the notion that they wanted to actually achieve something here in America, and it starts with leadership. And that leadership in the Republican caucus, and both the House and the Senate, is a surrender caucus. I mean, that is their plan. It's how are we going to surrender today? And this is something that has enormous long-term implications, not just for the rule of law, which it does, not just for the separation of powers, which it does, and not just for the constitutional integrity of America, which it does, but also from a policy standpoint, this amnesty will change America. And in ways the Democrats, particularly the extreme liberal Democrats, want. This is the transformation of America that this president didn't explain but said he was going to introduce when he ran for president. And here's Mitch McConnell helping him do it.
But Ken, I mean, Mitch McConnell, who was in a tight race for a while, making all kinds of promises, running as a conservative, and in his victory speech,
I heard that rumor too.
Yeah, right. But in his victory speech, Ken, The night of the election, or the day after, he promised, we will not shut down the government, which was, you talk about surrender. He waved the white flag, surrendered, and said to the president, because the translation of we will not shut down the government is, Mr. President, whatever you want. So we were cooked from there.
Well, look, I'm a litigator. I'm a professional negotiator. You don't need to have a PhD in negotiating tactics. When you see something like that, you know you're looking at a guy who has no idea how one properly goes about negotiating anything. And we see this over in the House too, and I think they're all just too proud, honestly, to bring in some people who can teach them negotiating tactics. Now, that's a bit tactical, but it's embarrassing to watch when such important strategic issues are at stake. It's horrible to watch. And there are reasons we all thought Boehner should be removed. There are reasons we'd like to see new leadership in the Senate. There's reasons the Senate Conservatives Fund only funds conservatives. We only supported Ben Sass, Tom Cotton, Joni Ernst. You know, there are a lot of other organizations out there that just sort of endorse every Republican. Well, we don't do that because you get this. And we believe that we need to stand for principles, that America is better off if we stand for principles. And we also need to hold Democrats accountable. Harry Reid is up in 2016 too. So's Bennett in Colorado. These are people we need to go after with good, solid, principled candidates who will come to Washington and fight, not roll over.
All right.
Which is what we see right now from the leadership.
Very quickly, though, Ken, we have less than a minute. What happens in the House? Let's say this does get voted on, it goes through. The House sticks together, or does Boehner cave along with McConnell?
You know, Boehner would like to cave, but Boehner has he has a conservative caucus. It leans conservative more than the Senate. And if they simply don't go along with Harry Reid's insistence that they sign the unconditional surrender here beforehand, that alone may keep this debate alive. And realize that Republicans just assume they're going to lose the PR battle. If they pass out, if Democrats...
Right, no, Ken, we got to go, but you're right. You're right. That's a terribly dangerous assumption. They got to learn how to communicate. Thank you, Ken Cuccinelli. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. The panel's next.